Leslie from Homestead. Hope everyone is doing great. I thought I'd hop on this morning and show you guys how I dehydrate my sourdough starter. So here we have Doughlores in all her glory. She's about 2 years old now. So I started her from scratch February of 2022. Yeah, because it's 2024. Yeah, so 2022. And she's been thriving ever since. So what I like to do in the event that anything should go wrong, she gets moldy, she gets thrown out by mistake, God forbid, I like to have some backup. So usually what I do is give her a good feed and let her do her rise, which we did that last night. I fed her, and you can see that was our starting point, and she has grown wonderfully overnight. So yeah, I like to feed her and then dehydrate some to have as a backup. So I've done this 2 different ways so far. I've used my dehydrator, and I've done it just on parchment paper on a cookie sheet in the oven with the light on. That process in the oven takes a little bit longer than the dehydrator, but either one works fine. The only thing I will say is if you are using a dehydrator, make sure it has a very low temperature setting. I'm gonna say mine, I have an Excalibur, so it does actually have what's called a live food setting, which I do believe, and I'll double check this and make sure, but I do believe it's 95 degrees. I've done it at that temperature and it's worked out fine because I have taken the dehydrated starter, rehydrated it, and made bread with it to make sure that it was still good, that everything was okay. So yeah, if you have a dehydrator that only goes down to like 130 degrees or something, I'd be wary, maybe. I mean, you can try it, but you don't want to cook it, is what I'm trying to say. But again, if you don't have a dehydrator, just spread on some parchment paper and pop it in your oven with the light on. It'll help dry it out faster, and give it a couple of days. You're good to go. So with that being said, let's get started. I'm going to do it 2 ways this morning, just to show you. So I do have my dehydrator trays. So this is from the Excalibur. It's a 9 tray. I've only taken out a couple because I don't have that much starter to do 9 trays. But all we're going to do is get our dehydrator tray. We're going to take some parchment paper. This is just Costco, Kirkland parchment paper. Measure it out roughly to the size of your tray. And that's it. I'm going to take the tray out of my way for a second. Spread out my parchment paper. So you can see, I don't know if you can see, she is nice. Can you see that? Nice and bubbly and active. So all we are going to do, I don't know if you can see all the gluten strands, they're beautiful. And just start dumping it out. You want to spread it as thinly as possible. If it's too thick, it's going to take way longer to dry out. And you might have spots, like when I do it in the oven, I always take it out, check it probably after 24 hours, because any thick spots may still have like a gluey consistency underneath the top layer. So you want to make sure all that's completely dried out. So this is a half cup. So we have about a cup on our parchment paper. And all I'm going to do is, I use an offset spatula. You can use plastic spatula, you can use the back of a spoon, whatever you want to use. And just spread it as thinly and evenly as you possibly can That's your parchment paper. So yeah, like it's nice to have as a backup. You can leave it in like, when it dries out, you just crack it up into like chips almost. But then what I do is toss it in my food processor and make it into a powder and just keep it in a mason jar, tucked away in the back of my pantry for emergency backup. It's also nice too, like if you have someone you want to gift it to, you can gift a little jar of dehydrated starter with a note of how to rehydrate. I have some friends that live away that I have dehydrated it and sent it to them, and they didn't want to fuss with making their own starter. So yeah, just keep spreading it out as thinly as possible. Try to keep it within, like, you know, you don't want to go over the edges of your dehydrator tray. So that should be good there. Now what we're going to do is get our tray, slide our parchment paper on, and that's it. That's pretty much it. I'm going to pop it in the dehydrator on the live settings temperature, which, like I said, I'm pretty sure it's 95 degrees. And it might, like, we'll check it. My thing with dehydrating or freeze drying or anything like that, I don't like to put a time on it, because depending again on the thickness and whatnot of how you've put yours there, or how you've spread yours on, basically it's dry when it's dry. If it takes 24 hours, if it takes 36 hours, if it takes 12 hours, whatever, it's dry when it's dry. So like putting a time frame on it is kind of hard. So I don't like to do that. I just keep checking it periodically, and you can't over dry it, put it that way. It's better to have it really good and dry than to try and store it with any type of moisture in it, because then you're open to like mold growth and stuff like that, and you don't want that. So yeah, so this is our dehydrator tray version, and all we're gonna do the exact same thing. We're gonna do the exact same thing for the oven. We're just going to measure out parchment paper the length of a cookie sheet, and we'll grab one. Spread it on that and pop it in the oven. So like I said, I did this the other day, and I did it in the oven because I didn't really have enough to want to turn on the dehydrator. And it took, I'm going to say, like roughly 2 days or so to dry, and then I just crumble it up. So this is, that's what I have powdered. Well, that's what's left. That's why I'm replenishing. So that's the powdered. And this is the stuff I dehydrated the other day that I haven't powdered yet. And it's just chips. Dehydrator starter chips. So I'll toss these in the food processor or the blender, or even Magic Bullet, and zip them up into powder and add to this and poke it away. Just to have it. It's nice to have a backup starter. I usually keep like a backup starter that I feed once every, I don't know, once a month maybe. I keep that in the fridge too, just because I don't want to have to start another starter. And this one is, she works so well that I want to make sure I keep her going. So I've been, like I said, I've been lucky enough to be able to have gifted her to many friends and family, and they are now using it to make wonderful loaves of bread. So we're just going to do this. So that's another cup. Same thing, take your offset spatula, hold on to your parchment paper because it's gonna slip around on you. out. Nice and even. I'm going to that's it. So that's 2 cups dehydrated. I'm probably, yeah, there's still lots more in there. I'm gonna do another tray for the dehydrator. And then I'm going to set it going, and like I said, could take 24 hours, might take 48 hours. It's dry when it's dry. So that's it. That's how you dehydrate your sourdough starter. I hope you found this helpful. If you haven't tried it, give it a try. It's always nice to have some stored away, like I said. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.